And everything is working properly, I promise. So, we have, for the left side, because I don't know if it's the right team or not. For the left side, we have Crafty Trent on Blaze, the Dude Man on Falstad, Rab on Stukov, Grizzly Pear on Gul'dan, and Evil Atau on Anubarak. Meanwhile, for the right team, we have Tomgen on the ETC, Stony on Anduin, Mr. Sad Panda on Orphea, Wrecked on Lunara, and Smoke on Imperius. Pretty standard builds so far. I'm surprised Blaze hasn't picked his level 1 though. Especially considering he just picked up a globe there, so if he was going for the Unstoppable quest, he would have just lost a globe essentially. Now, I'm guessing that we see the Blaze in the offlane against... Actually, no. We see Falstad in the offlane. Nubarak does burrow out to not get ganked in the top lane, as he tries to pick up as much XP as he can. So far, we see the right team ahead on experience, and ahead on rotations, as they're able to get the aggression onto the Blaze there. Now, it is rare that you see... teams, especially this low down, having a ranged offlaner and having both melees in the format. But it's not a stupid plan. Not a stupid plan at all. Now the right side is not just ahead on their rotations, they're also ahead on gems at this point, as they've successfully denied a lot of gems from the enemy team. The Gul'dan does get rooted and blown up by the enemy team. Meanwhile, the Blaze does gank the Imperius in the bot lane. All those gems behind the front wall, not going to be enough. They're still lost. Meaning that the gems are now about even. Stukov is using his arm to try and zone out the bush. Meanwhile, the Anubarak is just trying to soak the top lane the best he can, but he is getting hit by any and all abilities from the enemy team. With Crafty Trent rejoining the rotations, they should be able to resynchronize on their rotations, except for the fact that ETC doesn't in fact grab them. Caladorn, welcome to the stream! I recognize the name. I'm trying to remember from where. I'm sorry. There's a lot of people in NGS I know. I'm assuming that you're someone from NGS. Oh, you're one of the other captains, aren't you? I think so. Anyway, Stukov does take a lot of damage from the Lunara. Ah, CCS! Right, thank you. Hey, Megan420, welcome back! I know I've seen you in my chat before. And I know I've casted one of your games. Both teams are on these rotations a little odd, to be honest. I'm having a hard time following them. Though it does look like Crafty Trent does get a little aggressive here, trying to pick up the gems that aren't there yet. Anubarak does try and zone him out. Right! You play the KT. Not a bad KT, by the way. Anyway. Lots of anchoring coming out from both teams' tanks, especially considering the left team has two of them. Blaze does take a fair amount of damage, but Falstad is getting huge amounts of value down here. I noticed the second kill coming in. I did not realize that he already had pushed a front wall. This is a really uncomfortable position for the enemy team, especially considering they seem to be losing the 4-man rotation now. Which with, yeah, improved life tap, that definitely helps his ability to, Gul'dan's ability to stay alive. How much corruption stacks? 13. I don't think we'll get any kills here. Yeah, no. Just a Blaze getting grabbed. No biggie. But something worth noting, this fort is already below 25%. And the left team does have a turn-in, where the right team just picked up the ability to get a turn-in. Heck, the left team is already half turned in. This might be a right turn in first, though. Yep, right turn in first. Oh, were you not in this game? Or is your username not Megan? Lots of damage does come out as well as CC, but nothing is getting secured there on the left team. Wait, no, were you Grizzly Bear? I vaguely remember that. I could be wrong. But anyway, the Web Weavers are coming down. Lots of aggression coming out on the top lane here. You're worse than a bot? Don't say that. I'm sure you're not worse than a bot. Stukov's Silence does attempt to zone at the enemy team, but at the very least is getting a fair amount of safe damage onto the Spider Queen. Lots of damage onto the ETC, but his armor will keep him alive. The Anubarak is getting body blocked, but he could use his burrow if it is not on cooldown, but I guess it is, because he walked around. He takes lots of damage that almost killed him right there. And a Lunara kill for a Falstad kill. Big stun coming out from the Blaze. He has no mana to speak of here, but is able to walk out. That 1-for-1 trade, frankly, being beneficial for the right team. A Lunara for the Falstad, who already has basically counteracted your Spider Queens to a significant degree. Yeah, no, if I was the right team, I would be ecstatic there. Now, we do see, it looks like the left team is trying to get the last 25 gems they need. I think they're on the Blaze here. Yep. Crafty Trent does get the turn-in. You sat this one out, Megan? Sorry to hear it. At the very least, you'll see what's going on. Stun does go out and miss, but a burrow comes in and doesn't miss. The Jaws do stun the Anubarak, the Cocoon, onto the ETC, getting burnt very quickly by the Lunara, but followed up immediately by a stun by the Blaze. With Fear does go out, removing the Orphea, as well as trying to zone the ETC onto the friendly team, but is unsuccessful to lead to a kill. The Anubarak does go in with a burrow, then the... lots of stuns and the combustion. Pool does go out to keep the ETC alive. Lots of aggression coming out onto this top fort. Meanwhile, Falstad continuing to do what he was doing on the bot lane. No, the team's positioned wrong. Vilefin was home. They should have been on the left. But I did think that that was a thing. I thought so. I wasn't sure. Anyway, the Orphea does almost go down, taking lots of damage, barely getting saved by the Anduin, but it is all going to be for nothing, as Vilefin does lose their Orphea. Now, I'm not 100% if this will work, but I'm going to try it. Switching sides. Aha! It worked! Aha! I'm happy. It worked. It doesn't usually work, but it worked this time. I did do a thing. My thing caused everything to lag, but I did do a thing. Now this camp did manage to get this mid keep. Now look at this map. This Falstad was completely zoning out the enemy and did lead to a double kill. Oh, don't say that, Yas Queen. Your life up until this point hasn't been a lie. I'm sure everything's fine. And I'm sure you're perfectly fine at this game. I mean, the bots are completely worthless. Oh, the team names. Gotcha. I'm sorry. That's my fault. I fixed it. Everything's good. I didn't know if it would work, but it did. But to be fair, Vilefin is home and should have been the left side. Charge does come out from the Imperius, not hitting anyone. Anubarak just barely getting onto that point. The Fear does go out, but isn't able to secure the point. The Combustion goes out as well, dishing out lots of damage. The Beetle is already dead, though. Stukov follows suit? Okay, apparently that was Gul'dan. I thought that was Stukov. Blaze follows suit as well. Now the Stukov dies, leading to this camp not only being a victory for the enemy team, but is now going to be cleared up instantly by the Falstad, who might be knocked out here. I'm not sure. We'll see. Root does go out, successfully hitting. The stun follows up, and the charge, and... Yep, nope. It's chicken for lunch, boys! The right team is going to pick up this boss, trying to likely turn in as well, which will lead to likely this map equaling out. The leaf does come out from the Lunara, as well as lots of damage onto the Beetle, who's barely able to stay alive. The boss is being picked up, but that may have bought enough time for Falstad to get up and fly in, but it is unlikely. That team just kind of poking in, attempting to disrupt the boss clear as best they can, but are unsuccessful as the boss is now picked up. Stukov using his arm to, it looked like, just zone out the enemies. Meanwhile, the right team is about to get a turn-in. Now, if you're on the left team, you know that you either have to clear the boss or deal with both. So the question is, what do you pick? I personally would very likely agree with their choice, especially with how well they cleared the boss. The objective last time. Now, only 5 more gems are required on the right side, and the Orphea getting cocooned there, as well as getting silenced instantly. Fear does miss, but the combustion does come out. Most of the gems are on the ETC. The left team desperately needs to either kill him or at the very least keep him from turning in, but at the same time, they're way too low to do anything here. Nubrak should have 1v5'd there? I mean, a beetle's a beetle. He's not gonna die, right? Like, a beetle can't die. It's not like he's a super squishy tank who's not really great right now. ETC did try and lock down that Stukov. Light Bomb just barely hits him, it looks like, leading to the Stukov death and likely the turn-in for the right team. That camp in the mid will help deal with it, as well as the top lane being pushed out, as well as is. Lots of damage does come out on the Beetle, who uses the burrow to just get out. Blaze uses the charge as well to just get out. But being a man down, especially a healer, especially Stukov, is going to be very difficult to defend here. Except for the fact that the enemies are hearthing, and they know they can at least see the Orphea that was hearthing there. So something worth noting, this spider is all the way up here and will be losing health over time, as well as will be able to clear. So even if it gets to the fort as fast as possible, it will likely be below 1/4 already. Bit of aggression coming out here, but the spider is going down, especially with that Echoed Corruption being complete. And the Falstad has already proven that if he's left alone, or even left against an enemy laner, you've got to fear. This mid spider is also going down, the ETC desperately trying to get value with this top one, but I was wrong. It will actually be closer to a half, which will lead it to be very easily cleaned up by the enemy team. The Beetle just trying to disrupt the backline. The Blaze does engage, but is engaged upon as well. The Fear does come out hitting, I don't think, anyone. Combustion coming out as well. Gus trying to get more people in range, and it succeeds, as about half the team was picked up there. Falstad does try and finish the last of that spider, but they do lose a fort. The Beetle does start taking huge amounts of damage and uses the burrow to get out. He is the source of most of their gems at this point and needs to be dealt with. Is this on the current patch? Yes. Yeah, because I didn't have to do anything fancy in order to get things to work. I think this was yesterday's game. Now, left team does have turn-in, and even with their waves pushed up the way they are, the turn-in should get a huge amount of value, but ETC does see it coming out. Echoed Corruption does steal a fair amount of his health, but he can just heal back up, but the Beetle, the source of most of the gems, is zoning him out. This bottom camp will help deal with the bottom Webweaver, which is now coming out. But Falstad, yet again, will say, all of your work is for naught, and clear up the bottom lane. Meanwhile, the enemy team is all clumped with the web weavers coming out, I'm not sure how smart of a move that is, especially with top lane being pushed onto the enemy side of the map, which is the exact opposite that you want to be in this scenario. Blue team can fight here for all day for all they care. Fear does come out, meaning that there are no heals for the time being. Anduin does step up, but the beetle goes down, and the combustion lands on no one. Imperius does grab the Stukov with his charge. Stukov being smacked straight into the ground. All the ultimates coming down mean the Falstad is stun-locked and ripped apart. And the Blaze just desperately tries to get away. But as I mentioned before, the longer that fight went on, the better it was for the blue team. So even though they lost 3 people, the enemy team has to deal with this, and it's already taken a front wall. And this bottom one, the one that they took up a camp to not have to deal with, I think has also taken a bottom wall. And this web weaver's not even done, and there's a catapult as well as a few ranged minions all attacking this. Meaning that they've already gotten more than enough value. And yeah, they don't have anyone for 15 seconds, but all their waves are pushed up. This top wave will even out, but it'll even out here, not here. Which means this fort is still very much in danger, as it will kind of be back and forth probably between these 2 locations. Both teams do pick up their bruisers here, meaning that both bruisers are likely not going to get much value, except for another thing worth mentioning, there's no fort here, which means every 3rd wave on both mid and bot have a catapult for the left team, but not for the right. You love your team? It's good to love your team. Red web weavers do come down, meaning that this camp has now suddenly massively increased in damage, but the Anduin is cocooned, and the Fear does come out, trying to lock the ETC out onto the friendly team. The Orphea does go down, the combustion shoving Anduin straight. Something shoved Anduin straight through the combustion, meaning that he had nothing to do except eat all the damage. A 1-for-2 trade in favor of the left team means that they are going to be able to clear this up very easily, especially with all of... this is a game with 30-second delay, no recast? What do you mean by that? This is a replay cast. And there's no delay. Yeah, all these fighters will be cleared up very easily while the Anduin and the Orphea are dead. This is the only one that I think will get any value. Yeah, this is a replay cast. All good, all good. I think this was a game from yesterday, but I could be wrong about that. I'm very curious what both teams are thinking here. Yeah, it's still current patch. Does look like the right team wants to try and grab this boss. Now, that's a very risky play with the entire enemy team up, especially considering the enemy team now knows they're all up here. Falstad has Fly. I'm assuming, yep, he has his Gust up, which means this will be 4v5 for only a few more seconds until Falstad gets in range to fly. Which, speaking of, he is coming in. The Cocoon did secure the 4v4 for a fair amount of time. Light Bomb does go out, trying to keep the Orphea alive. Gust does go out, counteracting the Orphea's jaws. But the stun goes out onto the Orphea yet again, as well as another stun out onto the two other enemies. This now means that the left team can pick up the boss, with the Imperius being dead. Now, I really didn't like that boss call, personally. It was a very risky play. But who knows? Maybe they saw something that I missed. From the 19th. Okay, so that was not yesterday. That was 2 days ago? Right? Yeah, 2 days ago. Now, since neither team has a turn-in, I like this pushing... Never mind. Looks like they don't want to push with it. At least not quite yet. And with the Falstad pushing with it... Now, let's be clear. I'm going to hop over to the XP. This Falstad is getting no glory on XP. He's getting no glory on stats. But this Falstad's doing work, and there's the Gust, completely locking down the enemies, leading to a massive combustion, and then there's the Fear to follow up immediately with it, the ETC, I think that is, Imperious, just not able to survive the huge amounts of damage being just dumped into his face. We do see a stage dive coming down onto the boss, trying to get as much slow and damage as possible, but it's not going to be enough. Leading to Better Than Bots securing game number 1 in our series of 3. As we come into game number 2 in our series of 3. Better Than Bots are up by 1 point, and we do have Grizzly Pear on Ragnaros, the Fire Elemental. We have Evil Tallow on Lunara, Aeromarab on Stukov, Crafty Trent on Blaze, and the Dude Man on the Falstad. I'm surprised they let them get away with a Falstad again. Meanwhile, for Vilefin Mrgles, we have Stony on Anna, Tomgen on Johanna, Mr. Sad Panda on Rainer, bringing the pepper and maybe the salt, Wrecked on Jaina, and Smoke on Imperious. Evil Alto. Thank you for correcting me. I'm not great with names. So we have Evil Alto on the Lunara. Are you actually an alto in singing? Like, you gotta be to use that name. Speaking of Alto, losing lots of health there, but does manage to giddy up away. The deer survives all. So yet again, I'm still very surprised that they let them get the Falstad. However, the Falstad is on the same lane as the objective, which is not normally... Oh, you got 50 points of Shadonis rewards. Awesome! I don't have anything you can do with them yet, because I don't know how to set up things that you can do with them yet. But awesome! I'm still new to this thing. But anyway, we see in the spot lane, this double-ranged seems very even. And honestly, I feel like once Falstad gets hammer gains, it should be even, which means if it's even now, I'm curious what changes then. Meanwhile, this top matchup is completely the opposite, as the Vilefin's Imperious is just getting decimated. Now, he will bring more value, especially in the early team fights. But in the team fights in general, I think he'll bring more value. Both sides did pick up their siege camps, that's worth mentioning. Meanwhile, Johanna does clear up the mid lane, lots of blizzard damage coming out. The nade does miss the Stukov, who manages to stay alive through all of that aggro. Ooh, Falstad's hurting. I feel like I missed something down here. Speaking of, the Falstad does go down, but Mr. Sad Panda taking huge amounts of damage by the blaze, but not going down. I was trying to ignore it, but now I can't. So there's a bit of a debate going on in my chat here. Oh, Rag got ganked in the top lane. That's not pleasant. But anyway, there's a bit of a debate going on in my chat, and someone shouted out Valkimler's mom, and his response was to say, "Hi, Mom!" So, shout out to Valkimler's mom! I'm curious about this all chat, but hey. Anyway, this is a 5v4 in favor of the right team. The Imperious Stab does come in, and the deer does not survive all anymore, as he does go down. I said Valkimler. Right? I did say it right. I'm pretty sure I did. We do see a lot of aggression coming out on this Raynor, but he's able to stay alive very easily.
Gather tribute.
Now, it is worth mentioning, one of these siege camps... Actually, never mind, both of them got a lot of value. Valcomer. Doesn't look like Valcomer. Valcomer. Right? I'm now saying it right. I feel bad. I'm not getting your name right, I don't think. But we do see the Bruiser camp picked up by the left team better than bots, which does mean that there's going to be this pressure going on while the fight goes on down here. The longer this fight takes, the more likely it is that the left team wins the map, even if they lose this tribute. This tribute is more valuable than the previous one, but it's still not all that valuable. Valcomer. Anyway, lots of damage does come out onto both sides. Stukov trying desperately to keep everybody alive. The Silence Arm does almost leave to the Johanna to die. Deer just barely making it through everything. The Blaze does fall very quickly. Ragnaros walking out with single digits and making it. Well done, Ragnaros. If that's not stress, I don't know what is. Anyway, this mid wall was taken by the left team. And the right team, as well as I'm assuming the left team, will be picking up their siege camps for this next objective. It is worth mentioning yet again that this camp is... Not yet again. This is the first time I'm mentioning it today. This is the first... Yeah, this camp is more valuable than this camp at this point in time because the curse is top lane. Meaning that this camp could be easy cleared on the top lane. Whereas this one gets to push with relative ease. But the left team desperately needs to get this, especially with that siege camp in the bot lane. Does look like they're setting up for a bit of a gank on the Ragnaros, who just waltzes right out unharmed. Now, left team does have 10s, which does mean that this fight should be very easily won by the left team, but I have seen unpredictable fights come out in the past. Lots of damage coming out. Arm does shove the Johanna completely out of the fight. Grizzly Pear trying to walk out. 10s do come out for the right team. Huge combustion taking down the entire left team. But speaking of the entire left team, they are thrown into the left team's injured backline. But both teams just desperately trying to clean up what their allies set up, leading to a full team wipe on the right team. I did hear the Ragnaros Lava Wave. I'm assuming, yeah, with only one minion, it definitely went bottom to try and deal with this camp. But it's not going to be enough. Felstad is going to come in and desperately try and clear that before it gets too much value. Meanwhile, Lunara is going to try and equalize the map by taking the top fort as far as she can. And she's doing exactly what I was about to say. If I was her, I would start running. But she's a deer. No one can catch a deer. Now we do see the Bruiser camp being picked up on the right side, so yet again, that will be pushing during this objective and will require to be cleared, or it could easily take a good portion of the mid fort. Not to mention, if that's pushing during the red curse, things will go from bad to worse for the side of better than bots. However, with this combustion coming out and huge amounts of damage being dumped on the enemy team and the Felstad positioning very aggressive, using the Gust to try and secure what he can, Raynor does go down and the Imperious just barely walks away, meaning that this will be 2-2. Oh, and Jaina goes down. I'm not sure how Felstad gets out of this. I'm not sure if Felstad gets out of this. Oh, he has Flight. Whee! I can't follow him. There we go. Now, the left team does decide to pick up boss here, which will sacrifice this mid quite a bit, even with that lava wave. This is still probably a front wall. Maybe not. With the XP lead, the minions might be... Oh, then there's Falstad to make things even more clear and perfectly fine. This boss is going... Looks like this boss is getting pushed without ally assistance, which means they are rotating up to try and grab this top mercenary camp. I'm not sure which team those pings were for, however, this is a lot of damage coming out onto this boss, and the right team is not answering this boss, nor answering the pickup of this boss. Gust is up, though, which means this could be a boss secure even if it is fought for, but this is a double boss play without a boss clear. This boss pushing during the objective, both these forts will be cleared, will be taken, and the right team needs to deal with 3 places on this map simultaneously. This is what makes games hell. There's no way around it. The bottom boss is cleared, and they also are moving towards the objective to try and grab it. Lots of aggression coming out from both sides. There's the Hyperion, big stun from the Blaze, as well as a giant combustion. Bit of anti-synergy coming out there with the Gust moving a lot of people from the combustion, as well as tossing the enemies into the back line. Lunar just ripping apart the Rainer. The Wrathman Gears does lead to the kill on the Falstad, and Imperius does manage to secure the kill on the Lunara. However, I'm pretty sure Blaze wins this trade, even with as low mana as he has. That's the other thing worth mentioning, the fact that the right team was a talent tier down at this point in time.
Red team has destroyed a fort.
Red team did manage to take the fort, as you heard there, in the bot lane. Crafty Trent trying to get the channel, but not really able to do much, especially with the enemy team showing up. But it looks like we're going to get another crack at the 5v5. Silence does go out, attempting to ruin the enemy's day, but not able to really hit anyone. Huge amounts of damage coming out onto Crafty Trent, who heals up a little bit from the fire, but doesn't have the mana for this fight. Falstad does walk in, and it looks like he's setting up for another Gust, but instead he decides, you know what, I'll just murder the Ana. Now, he does get stunned out pretty well, Gust trying to get him out of the fray, but fails in exchange for a curse, as well as a double kill. The silence does come out, leading to the Imperius death as well, and there comes the Jaina as well, the Ring of Frost, hitting most of the enemy team, but only just stalling them, as it's another team wipe. Now, remember the boss that was pushed up top? This is now 16s versus 14s. Top keep is gone, mid fort is gone, mid wall is gone, bot keep is gone, everything is gone for the side of the right team, considering it's still another 10 seconds on the long end, 5 seconds on the short end before they can do much of anything in this situation, and their talent tier down. This could potentially be game ending if the left team can only secure 1 kill, but it looks like instead of trying to play the risky play and trying to end the game, they go for the safer play and try and secure the mid keep relatively unsuccessfully, as they lose their deer. Ragnaros does attempt to deal a bit of extra damage to that mid keep, but instead is forced to retreat. But look at all of these minions pushing in on this. They need to clear this now, and Jaina can't just blizzard this whole wave, it's not large enough. She can use her cone as she did there, but that's still a lot more damage being dumped onto this mid keep, which is the only defense the right team has. And speaking of the mid keep, this camp will be pushing the mid keep, and the left team has full liberty, especially considering Lunar should be up fairly shortly, 8 seconds, to push with it onto that mid keep. Whereas this is a luxury for the left team, this is a necessity for the right team, as they need to deal with the pressure the best they can. Both these bosses are down. The left boss is down for only another 30 seconds. The right team desperately needs to try and push up these waves enough that they can try and contest that boss if needed. We do see a taunt coming out from the Blaze, though. And like I said, they're pushing with this camp, especially with the Lunara, up. Caladorn, thank you very much for the 69 bits. Thank you so much. But yeah, going back to what I was just about to say, with this camp being picked up and the lava wave coming in, this keep is gone. That spell armor helped them a bit, but it's already gone. There's the keep. Without the spell armor, I don't think they can push on core here, especially not with talent tier. But you're seeing the pings already for this boss. However, with this curse coming up, they either need to clear it in the next probably 12 seconds, which I don't think they can do, or position for the curse. Or deal with the curse. They can also just take the curse. Looks like they might just want to take the curse, using the boss to pressure the core during the enemy's curse, which is not a terrible tactic. It's a bit risky, but in this situation, they can afford a risk, especially with the Falstad, which I didn't think about. He can just gust them away from the objective, as well as poke fairly well. The right team also wants to get their boss, though, having sensed out the left team's boss. But with what they're doing here, they're not able to commit fully to the curse, and that may have just cost them the curse. Nope, doesn't look like it. Close, but no cigar. However, it does look like it's going to take them too long to clear up this boss, and the left team will be able to steal it, potentially. Blaze at least is positioning very aggressively for it. They don't really want to be fighting pre-20 here. Combustion does go out, getting a moderate amount of damage. Falstad comes in, and the Gust does secure the boss for the left team. If you're the right team here, you just realize the fact that your objective is being used to end on your core. And that's GG. Sorry, I think I got a little loud there.